Okay, new guy, be careful out there. We've lost too many already.
This is Dying Light, and in this video, I'm going to attempt to fully max out Kyle Crane's entire stat tree, meaning his power, agility, survivor, and his 250 legend points, all before completing the first assignment in the game. Welcome to Dying Light's Prologue Max Out. For this challenge, we're starting on a completely fresh save at the very beginning. And immediately, as I watch the introductory cutscene, I'm flooded with nostalgia. Ah, nostalgia. Initially released in 2015, Dying Light was well regarded, but I believe still under-recognized for how amazing this game truly is. However, as much as I'd like to talk about the story and, the combat, gameplay, the setting, the horror elements, the protagonists, the villains, we don't care about any of that. It's all meaningless when we're trying to do a challenge. Speaking of which, let's get into how this whole thing's gonna work. First off, there are no rules. Second off, there very much are rules, and the main one is that we will never complete the first assignment quest in the game. Now we will partially complete it, as we need to unlock the stash box in the outpost for the Winter Ops outfit, but we will never complete the quest. Rule number 2. I'm not going to cheat for any of my progress whatsoever, but I will utilize any and all advantages. For example, I will use the Winter Ops outfit for 20% bonus to points. I will play in Nightmare mode for the same reason. And I will also use agility farming strategies that exploit the game's funky mechanics around slide canceling. However, I won't use any strategies for power farming, as manhandling zombies brings me great pleasure. But now that I've thoroughly bored you after all of that talking, we can now get into the actual run. So, after waking up from an amazing dream, truly, we get to look at our stats and we see just how much of a daunting task this really is going to be. Now, we have a little bit of an introduction to play through. I'm, of course, going to skip through all of it because I don't care about the story of this run. There's nothing against it. We just want to get outside as fast as possible. And why are we getting outside as fast as possible? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to be doing Stuffed Turtle. Woo! I know everybody that just heard that, and if you know anything about Dying Light, you're super excited now, right? Right? Now, I know Stuffed Turtle is not a new idea by any means, but regardless, we run into our first problem immediately upon exiting the building. The doors automatically shut once you exit. Now, this locks you into completing Awakenings, which is the technical very, very first mission, which makes the first assignment technically the second assignment, but I digress. The door is now open, and we get access to the tower, the quartermaster, everything important for our run. Now, if you're disappointed in the fact that it's technically the second mission, not the first, I completely understand, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But for now, we're going to make a beeline for the Stuffed Turtle. Now, if you've played the game in any capacity, you probably know about the Stuffed Turtle, but if not, that's completely fine. I'll give a quick overview about what it's like. The Stuffed Turtle is XP farming central. It is the gold standard. It is one of the fastest, one of the most efficient ways that any player, regardless of skill or level, could be using Stuffed Turtle for their XP. The main strategy is very simple. You get the first 3 packages in any order you want, and you ignore the last 2, and then you just leave. You go back in, and you rinse and repeat. In the background, I'm playing an entire uncut run of the Stuffed Turtle. An average run at level 0 takes about 15 to 20 seconds, maybe even upwards of 25 depending on your pathing, if you get shocked, or any external factors. And just like that, that's the first 3 of actual thousands we're going to need by the end of this. Now, the early game is super simple. We're just going to gather just enough packages to unlock level 12 Survivor for the grappling hook. the grappling hook is going to take our time for each run down from about 20 seconds to an average of about 12 seconds to complete each run. This is going to greatly increase our efficiency, and although it's only 8 seconds difference, that is, by the end of this, literal hours and hours I am saving. At the end of the video, I'm going to show the final time played on this account and how long it took. But when I tell you 90% of that time was spent in the stuffed turtle, I am not joking. This shit was ridiculous. I will never... I say that, but I probably will step foot in this place again. That being said, let's go ahead and grind the first 12 levels. And finally, now we have the grappling hook. So now our goals become way more streamlined. We know exactly what our strategy is going to be for the next 100 levels or so. So the main strategy I have is that I want to max out Survivor as fast as possible to get access to legend tokens. We're not going to farm power just yet because I have a plan, but we need to get pretty strong first. So we're not going to touch power. However, we will touch agility. For agility, we're going to farm it by going to this place on the map. Now, you scale the building, which is completely possible without a grappler, by the way, and you enter through the roof. Inside, you'll find a room with 2 boxes. Now, you can use either box, it's completely up to you, both work the exact same. And like I said before, this is kind of exploity, that's just because I don't have a better term for it. The hitboxes are, I'm assuming, pretty glitched to be kind of in between space and time. So when you open the box and you get on top of it, the game allows you to farm points by, it assumes you're floating and sliding off of something, when in fact you're just sliding into the wall. So I found this to be incredibly efficient, especially considering we don't have nighttime available yet, which means we can't get bonus agility points farmed at night. So we'll have to make do with this strategy instead. So this was the early gameplay loop, where we are farming Survivor, but also farming agility whenever we're just bored. Luckily for us, Survivor really doesn't take too long at this point. It's more the exponential increases that happen once you get to Legend. That's kind of where we gotta worry about it, but... So I get a little under a full stack of drops, say hello to the old man and turn him in. Unfortunately, it's not enough, but I end up going back, getting a little bit more, and then just under 3 hours in, we get our first maxed out skill tree. Now I could have done it even faster, but as you see on the right, I was still using my starter gear at this time. In fact, I was using starter gear for the entire... Everything up to this point had been in the starter gear. Now of course, as I had stated before, I do end up using the Winter Warrior outfit for the 20% boost, but up until this point, I was still debating on whether or not I should do the more honorable thing and suffer. Now, I do end up using the outfit, I'm sorry, but that 20% to all stats is just way too good. Like, it saved me literal hours upon hours, so I'm sorry. In hindsight, I should have just probably suffered for that extra 20% of work, but whatever. So now that we have legend levels, a world of opportunities has opened up for us, and all of it is bad. But whatever, I am able to farm up about a little over a stack and a half of drops, and I'm expecting this to get me just about 25 levels into my legend, and, did I just get scammed? So looking back on it now, I know what happened. I had switched off of nightmare mode to standard and then not switched it back before I sold. So I ended up wasting about 2.5 hours of farming drops for a very pathetic return. Don't worry, I only made that mistake 2 more times by the end of the run. So now we gotta get back to farming. It's not a big deal, we need to farm anyways, so might as well do it now. And we just need to get the first 25 levels, that's our next goal. Now I'm gonna invest the first 25 points into unarmed. Why might you ask? Because, I don't know, I don't really like any of the early game weapons. And I know they get better as you level up your legend level with traders and stuff, but because we haven't beaten the first assignment yet, we're still so early, hypothetically, in the game that zombies are still super weak, virals don't even exist yet, and unarmed, if fully maxed out, one-taps them. I think even at like level 15 it would one-tap them. And since there's no durability, it just seems like the obvious choice for power farming. So, we farm up a couple stacks of drops, and we do just that. We get enough legend levels to get our unarmed maxed out first thing. So now we have power available. We don't necessarily have to farm power yet, but it's an option for whenever we want to. By no means does this indicate that legend farming is over. In fact, it's just begun. Power and agility farming is just something we can do in between to kind of just refresh our palette. Because if anything's gonna stop me, it's gonna be the boredom. Speaking of which, let's get to legend farming. Now, I actually had a decent bit of trouble trying to put these clips together because the routing is just so redundant with how repetitive it looks and, never mind how it feels. But, I mean, let me demonstrate with some clips. These are 4 different clips, and apart from minor differences, they're all very similar. Now, from these 4 runs, I sourced 12 drops exactly. Multiply that somewhere in the ballpark of 563 times, and that's about what we're looking at for how many drops I need. Now that sounds like a terrifying number to think about, but when we do some quick math, we'll see that we estimate our runs to be about 15 seconds. Factoring in loading times for both entering and exiting the stuffed turtle at about 15 seconds apiece, each run for 3 drops is about 45 seconds. Now that means for 12, as we had talked about before, that's going to be about 3 minutes, almost exactly 3 minutes approximately. Now dividing that prior number by our 12 drops, then multiplying our 3 minutes by the said number we get, and dividing that full number by 60, we can see that it'll take just about 28 hours, a little over, to fully get those 6,756 drops. Now this is purely for legend. This is not factoring in the other skill trees and how long those are going to take, which 28 hours really doesn't, like, I would expect it to be much more. Now that is 28 hours of this torture, but that is, dare I say, reasonable. Don't want to throw that around, but maybe, just maybe, a little bit reasonable. So now that we're done with that long tangent, we return to our favorite quartermaster and turn in another set of drops for another chunk of levels. Then again with another chunk, only a stack and a half, but at this point, it's still early enough. By the way, I went and checked to make sure I was a nightmare. At this point, a stack and a half still gets us like 14 levels. Like, that's still pretty good. Spoiler alert, once we get to like the 200s, a stack and a half is quite literally 1 level. So I better enjoy these 14 at a time while I still can. Speaking of which, after those 2 stacks dropped off, we get to level 91. Now, after unarmed, I decided to go into firearms and bow next. No real rhyme or reason, we have to max them all out, so it doesn't really matter. Now, from here, I actually ended up going on like a 3-day break from the game, and from, legend levels, because once I got back on the game, I dreaded the thought of having to do more stuffed turtles, so instead, I focused on catching up my agility and power in the meantime. So I did just that. I got them both caught up to level 13 each, and then I ended up stomaching a little more drops in the stuffed turtle. I ended up turning in about 2 stacks, getting my level up to 109, and then from there, I left my legend level, at 109 for the next like 5 hours of gameplay, and you'll see it in the top left. You'll see I just left it at 109 for such a long time because I just did not want to go back. but I was being a baby about it all along. But you might be asking, what did I do for the next 5 hours then? Well, I only had power and agility halfway done. It was time to get that up. And with agility finally officially done, power wasn't far behind. And with that final zombie, we now have 3 of 4 skill trees completely done. But why kill the mood? Let's keep this running. And as I make my way over with what I assume will be the last of the drops that I'll need, it appears that our Kyle Crane adventure has come to an end. That being said, I'm sorry for, adding legend level farming into the agility and power farming. It just felt like it fit the best, instead of reintroducing the entire thing, I just felt like it was the best way to handle it. And so here we go. This should be it, and... Interesting. Well. I wasn't expecting that. Well, I'd love to blame somebody, but honestly, couldn't end it a better way. So while prior me goes and farms stuffed turtle for the last time, I know, very special, let me explain some of the stuff that you were seeing. So I actually took a timestamp for when I finished the power and agility farming. I didn't include it, but yeah. Just over 11 and a half hours, I was able to complete Survivor, Agility, and Power, and get a little bit into Legend. Now, Legend farming itself wasn't terrible. It was pretty noticeable towards the end. An amount that would have gotten me close to 15 levels, towards the end was only giving me 3. But that's all behind us. It doesn't matter anymore, because with that last drop, we're now fully maxed out. Can't believe I'm saying it. Despite all of the trials and tribulations, it's done. It is now maxed out. Now, I mentioned something about this earlier and how I was going to elaborate on it, but Awakenings, the mission before this, is technically the first one straight out the gate from the tower. Now, there's, a pre-introduction where you do a mission in the tower, but Awakenings is technically the very, very, very first mission in the open world, with, first assignment technically being the second. Now, I wanted to say that I think it's a possibility to max him out during Awakenings, the very first mission, except it would be way harder and way more difficult considering that the tower is completely shut off until you complete Awakenings. Meaning that the Quartermaster is not an option. If you were to do it, you would have to do it by maxing out one of his side stats, like Agility or Power, and then farming that past that point until you slowly and methodically are able to get Legend 250. It would be way harder and it would take so much longer that I don't even want to think about it. But the reason I bring it up is because I am open to trying it, if that sounds interesting. But that's a problem for another day. I mean, looking at what's left of this, you're probably wondering, what else is it going to talk about or do? Well, I've been meaning to talk to somebody for a long time now, and I think I owe it to him to end this the proper way, by putting in 100% effort, so to speak.
Crane, first of all, you did great out there.
I'll do it.
Right? Yes. Crane will go. He'll be happy to.
Jesus. No offense, friend, but you're as green as grass. You can't just...
You from Texas? You a cowboy? I'm from Chicago. Okay, Al Capone.
Get down there!
A man of 3 wins.
Have you brought the oats?
Now go fuck yourself.
You goddamn stupid fucking kid!
Hey! Hey, you! Do something! We don't always ask names. What's your name? People are going to know about you.
Crane. Right, Crane?
It's me! It's me, kid! It's Crane! Ah, shit. Where are the outposts?
Shouldn't be seeing any more orange vests for a while. You want the research? Just fucking wait for my signal.
So, face to face again. I guess that means I don't need this anymore.
With or without it, Suleiman, you're dead. How's that for a decision, asshole?
I'm certain a cure is within reach.
All right. Hey, we'll talk about it next time I see you.
This is Io speaking. Get to the nearest safe house and wait until dawn. Good night, and good luck.
So our final time was just about 63 hours. I hope you enjoyed. I was actually working on this since April, maybe a little bit before that. So this has been in the works for, quite a long time, so I hope it came out okay. Regardless, yeah, that's it.
Okay, it's done. Fuck.